How's it going, guys? Today is February 23rd, 2:43 p.m. on the East Coast. So, wanted to do today's vlog on responsibility. I had a really interesting conversation with my wife yesterday during her lunch break about responsibility and a lot of things that come associated with it. And I have a lot of experience with responsibility and the lack of responsibility. So, I'll start off by giving you a little short story. But when I first joined the military, I was a finance person, which I wanted. I chose that profession or job, so to speak, so I can be safe, one, and then two, have minimal responsibility. Pretty much just be responsible for myself. As I progressed in the military, I changed careers, I started to promote, and they started to give me more responsibility. As you promote and you receive more money, you also receive more responsibility, like soldiers beneath you who you have to lead. So as I'm talking to, my wife about these things, and a lot of people are and this doesn't have anything to do with my wife, but a lot of people are upset sometimes with the money they make, and it's a direct reflection of the responsibility you have wherever it is that you work. Or if you don't work, then this doesn't really apply to you. But it's a direct reflection of the responsibility that you have wherever it is that you do work. So that's what your pay, in my opinion, is a reflection of. So the responsibility you have. In the military, as you move up, you become responsible for more and more people as you promote. So, and obviously with that more responsibility comes more pay, just as you would think it would. So, same thing with a lot of different jobs. As you become more responsible for different people, or have people under you, those are positions that require more responsibility, not just for yourself. So you prove that you were able to be responsible for yourself. That's why you start off as you don't really start off as management. Things are kind of changing nowadays where that is an option, because you can go to school for management and start off as like middle management. But typically you don't. You have to start from the bottom. And once you prove that you're responsible for yourself, you're given an opportunity to be responsible for other people, if you choose to have that responsibility. In the military, very much like in the civilian world, you either move up or you move out. There are some people who are perfectly comfortable with the jobs that they have. They want no more responsibility, and that's fine. But if you are upset with the money that you make, it's a direct reflection of that responsibility that you have at work, as you're responsible for more and more stuff. And it doesn't necessarily have to be people, but stuff, people, more quotas, higher quotas. You can be an individual like my mom, who's got a lot of responsibility to meet certain numbers by the end of the month at her place of employment, and she's compensated by meeting those numbers on a monthly basis. So she's not responsible for other people necessarily, but she is responsible for meeting a certain quota that is, fractions of what she gets paid fractions of what that quota is, as you would expect. But as you move up more in responsibility, and you start to take on more roles, your pay will increase. And it's one of those things that some people don't realize, and they complain all the time about, not having not having satisfactory pay at their job, but they're not willing to take on any more responsibility. The other thing that comes hand in hand with responsibility is being able to make a change. I told her that a part of the reason I joined the Army out of every other branch is because you can promote quicker. With that promotion, you have more responsibility. With the responsibility, sometimes you can affect change. So I would be able to sit into meetings, and they'd ask me my opinion once I became a certain rank. And the same holds true in the civilian world. As you move up and become responsible for more people, you eventually have to start going to these meetings. And that gives you an opportunity to express your opinion. And your opinion could be what affects you. Like my wife is not necessarily about happy of every facet of her job. She loves her job, but there's certain things about her job that she's not so crazy about, like everybody, and the jobs that they do. But as you pick up more responsibility and you're able to sit in on those meetings, you're able to actually make a change or be the change that you want to make. So it works hand in hand. And for people to understand that, sometimes is a little bit of a delicate situation. So you need to be able to take on the more responsibility. You'll benefit on so many levels. And I understand that some people aren't comfortable with responsibility, but it will make you. I promise you that. And if it doesn't make you, you either know that that job isn't for you, but you always have the option to move back if you know that that responsibility just isn't what you were meant for. Maybe you are more of a of a first line person and a people person who could still be not a part of the managerial team. But then there's also certain pay deductions that come with that. So if you decide that it isn't for you and you want to step back down into the role you had previously, because you really truly feel like it isn't for you, then expect a pay decrease because your responsibility is decreasing. But your pay should increase as your responsibility increases, and you're afforded the opportunity to voice your opinion more and more as you move up through the structure. And to me, it's almost, it makes sense on so many levels. I was just afforded more responsibility at the place of my employment, and they have me doing more and more things there. Like I was looking at how many hours I worked last week, and it was upwards of 50, a little over that, upwards of 50 hours. And I was telling my wife, and she's like, "Man, it's just it seems like you're there all the time." But for me, I enjoy the job, and I enjoy looking forward to more responsibility, because now the things that I say whenever I talk to the people who own the place, it carries some weight because they see that I'm invested. They see that I've owned up to the responsibility, and what I say has a bearing on how that place is ran, believe it or not. And it's just because I decided to take the responsibility that's associated with the role, and even outside of my roles. Simple little things that I do to contribute to the overall success of a team. So you have to be willing to accept that responsibility and know that a lot of good things can come from that responsibility, from accepting it and then from performing at that new level. When you accept the responsibility, you essentially have to perform at a new level. If you're responsible for people, you have to be concerned about their well-being, and you have to make sure that you're taking care of them, and you have to be able to communicate with them to make sure that everything's running effectively. And constant and habitual feedback, whether it's good or bad, like constructive criticism, is gonna help you become a better leader and a better person in that new responsibility role. So don't be afraid to take on more responsibility. It will help you in so many ways. I was one who shied away from responsibility when I first joined the military, and I picked a job that I thought was safe, and it ended up, on my 1 year anniversary in the Army, I was boots on ground in a foreign country. So if that goes to show you that what I thought had completely backfired, and then being in that foreign country forced me to take on more responsibility, and I ran with it. A lot of people just go with the flow and they don't want any more responsibility, but I enjoyed the challenge of leading people even at a rank where I wasn't supposed to be. And I incorporated some things and did some things that people above me should have been doing. But that was just because I enjoyed the responsibility, and surely when there was an opportunity to promote, I promoted ahead of my peers. And it was a sign that what I was doing was a direct reflection of my efforts, but they also noticed it because of my willingness to do that. So there's nothing, in my opinion, but good that can come from it. In my opinion, you either move up or you move out, and it's not a bad frame of mind to have. But again, there's some people who are perfectly fine with just doing their day job. But if they're complaining about the things that they're doing and about how things are being ran at a particular place, then be the change. Be the person to step up and take on more responsibility, because you have that option to. Especially if people are encouraging you, if they see a potential in you and you're constantly hearing that feedback, then step up to the plate. You have something more to offer, and you should absolutely offer it, because if not, you're going to have somebody else take over that role when you were perfectly capable, and you don't know what it is you could have offered at that point to make the change or be the change, and you don't know how you would have been able to affect other people by you taking that responsibility and affecting people in a better way. Maybe changing some things in the way your operation is ran, or your community or your business is ran. You're free to have those thoughts and opinions as you move up and you become more responsible, because they see that you have a personal investment with what's going on. And so that's what I'll leave you with for today. I was a little bit more passionate about this one because for me, responsibility is key to success. If you want more things in life, you have to be responsible for more. And that's outside of your bubble of your family, of your immediate family, and taking care of things at home. If you want more things, more success outside of what you have within your family, and this is like going work related, then take on more responsibility. Volunteer for stuff. As much as I can tell you that I don't like volunteering at times, some of the best stuff has happened to me whenever I have volunteered. And I can no longer trash it because I was talking before from a place where I was uncertain of, where I had no experience. But after volunteering for stuff, whether it's free or not, you end up learning and gaining a lot of experience. And people notice whenever you do take on more responsibility and you volunteer and you do that type of stuff. And it's one of the things that I believe colleges look at to see if that sets you apart from other applicants that are on the same level as you. You have to figure out ways to distinguish yourself as you're going through, life. And I believe taking a firm hold of responsibility and accepting more and challenging yourself to it is going to be nothing but good things to come from it. So that'll be it for today. I appreciate you guys watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'm up to 19 subscribers. I just got some comments from fellow YouTubers, and I definitely appreciate those. And trying to hit that one more subscriber within the next 5 days. I really hope to make that happen, and I'm pushing on every avenue that I can. So thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.